the immigration issue, the one you're not meant to discuss, but there's a US election, or at least the primaries, and there are candidates who will discuss it, but do they discuss it properly? Are they really being genuine about this? Immigration scholar, journalist, Peter Brimelow, terrific guy, joins us from New York. Welcome to you, my friend.
Happy New Year, Michael.
And to you. Now, the various candidates, I can't imagine many Democrats will discuss this, but Republicans, for example, are they being open and honest about immigration policy?
No, of course not. But they're faced with an insurrection from the grassroots, from their own people. And as long as they have to attend town hall meetings and take questions from the electorate, then they have to face the issue. And that's particularly true for illegal immigration. Everybody on the campaign trail for the Republicans now say they're against amnesty. They're lying, of course, and particularly Speaker Gingrich has a plan which will be a de facto amnesty, but they know that they have to disguise it. Unfortunately, there's very little discussion of legal immigration, which is proceeding at $1 million a year in spite of the terribly high unemployment here. And I'm afraid that's because basically the American people essentially don't understand legal immigration. They see the effects, but they think it's all due to illegal immigration.
Now let's talk about the illegal aspect first. The fear of discussion, and there's always been this dichotomy between ordinary people and the elites on various issues, I think. But is this because of the influence of the Hispanic Latino vote?
No, the Hispanic vote is extremely small in the U.S. They cast about 7% of the votes in 2008. It actually fell in the 2010 election. There are a lot of very vocal Hispanic consultants who want to tell politicians what to do, and they are the media's ear, so that's why we hear so much about it. I think the essential reason why people are afraid to talk about it, well, I should say, they're very powerful interests that benefit from this situation, and they don't want it discussed. But I think the essential reason is what I call Hitler's revenge, the effects of the trauma of struggling against Nazism in World War II left the whole Western world so terrified and paranoid about racism that they've gone overboard the other way. And so now you have a situation where every Western country is faced with its host population going into a minority within the lifetime of people who in the show, watching this show, and we're not allowed to discuss it.
Yeah, well, it's certainly true in Europe. I wasn't aware it was happening in the US. Look, you have unemployment in the States higher than you've had for 2 generations, 3 generations. Surely people realize that as much as immigration, at a certain extent, has to be acceptable, when you don't have the jobs for people who already live there, surely you don't bring new people in.
And yet it's proceeding at over $1 million a year. And Governor Romney has said that he wants to give a green card, that is to say the equivalent of a landed alien status, to everybody who graduates with a technical degree in the US. All foreigners graduating with technical degrees. So that's going to further bust down wages and increase unemployment among the skilled Americans. It's an incredible situation. It drives me crazy. As you know, I have this website, vdare.com, which focused on this issue. And we've looked at this question, and what you find is that the reason Americans don't go into these high-tech degrees is because the wages when you get out are so terrible. It's stagnant. And that's largely because of the immigrant influx.
Now, some people think it's a right-left issue. However, there are many very powerful, quite conservative-minded people who want open immigration because their employees will earn less and their profits will be higher.
The Canadian-American journalist David Frum, who you know, came up with a brilliant line. He said that immigration is the only issue where you can do what K Street, that is the lobbyists, want you to do, and you can be congratulated on being moral and virtuous. And I'm afraid that's true. There are really powerful interests that do. If you look at the economics of immigration, it's basically an attack by the owners of capital on the living standards of the working class. That's essentially what it is. I say this as a long-time conservative Republican, but I have to say that this is susceptible to a very crude Marxist analysis. Of course, on the other hand, the Democrats just want to elect new people. They think the more Hispanics and minorities they get in there, the stronger their hand is going to be. And in the short run, that's true.
Let's talk about this, because I don't think any other TV station actually would go into these areas.
You're right.
The working class, it's not about race or colour. You see this in the UK, you see it in the US. But it's overwhelmingly black and white working class people, long-term Americans or English people, military record often, good people. They are the ones who are being ignored in all this. And if they ever say, well, hold on, immigration, people coming to the country with a few language skills, taking jobs, which I can't get, they're then, even if they're black, they're accused of being dumb or racist.
Michael, on vdare.com, we get letters all the time from people who are immigrants. and say they're fed up with the current situation. I mean, I'm an immigrant myself, but I mean specifically Hispanic immigrants, because they see their neighborhoods being flooded with illegals, and they see their wages being beaten down and their jobs being taken from them. So you're right. In some senses, it's not a race issue at all. It's just an issue. It's a class issue. Yeah. The people who benefit from it are the people in the country clubs.
Now, the class aspect of politics, like me, you came from the UK, I've been here half my life, but I've never quite understood how in North America the people are so reluctant to talk about class. It's as though they think it's Marxism. It's not. But class is an issue, and working class people are frequently disenfranchised when it comes to these great political debates that affect them more than anyone.
Yeah, they have ways of getting around it, you know. They talk about rednecks and so on, and that's basically the white working class. One of the really interesting things about this election is that it's becoming clear, and there's been a substantive discussion about it, that the Obama administration has basically given up on the white working class. They just want to appeal. They're going to try and win with minorities on the one hand and the very wealthy on the other. You know, Wall Street substantially backed Obama in this last time around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about African Americans, black Americans? Because I've spoken to some community leaders. They get very angry about two issues in particular. They think that white liberal opinion has put all of its energy into the gay issue and now ignores black inner city people. But also they think immigration and those who advocate it, they never listen to the black community.
You know, the first thing, of course, is completely true. I think white liberals, by and large, have given up on African Americans. It's pretty clear. The second problem is, the second point is a little complex. If you poll blacks, if you poll any other group, you're going to find a majority of people against immigration. But the black leadership is very bad on it. And I'm afraid the reason for that is that the black leadership substantially depends on white liberal money.
Yep.
I'm not saying that's particularly an accusation against them. I think the Republican Party itself is, frankly, serving the interests of big business here, or at least it thinks it is. Yeah. So it's basically a generally disgusting situation, and it makes me happy that we're journalists, Michael, because we can say nasty things about it.
Well, you can here. You know, I don't know how many other stations would even allow this sort of debate to take place, but it'll be encouraged here because it's true, for goodness sake. Thank you so much, as always.
Thank you, Michael. Have a good trip.
Thank you.